Tonight on the News Hour, Kaduna State government backs pact with terrorists, claims is to save lives. Amid rising cost of living, a family provides circa to community with Gari processing initiative. And travelers stranded as Oyo-Ogbomosho highway worsens amid gridlock. On the foreign scene, France warns as Goma near collapse with militia Rwandan troops closing in. Welcome to the News Hour once again. My name is Abdullahi Ahmed. We'll begin the bulletin in Kaduna, where the governor of the state, Uba Sani, has defended his administration's decision to broker a peace pact with terrorists in the state, emphasizing that his top priority is safeguarding lives and restoring peace in Kaduna State. Responding to critics, Governor Sani clarified that the agreement followed 6 months of dialogue and involved no monetary payments to the terrorist. He stressed that no financial incentives were offered to secure the deal. The governor credited traditional and religious leaders for their critical role in facilitating the discretion of the street negotiations, which held to the release of about 200 captives held by some of the bandits. Now, the governor described the release as a testament to the sincerity of the agreement, highlighting it as a significant step towards long-lasting peace in Kaduna State. But let's get some more insight on what this development means for peace and security beyond just Kaduna State. Joining us on the program is Dr. Sani Aliyu. He is a security expert. He will be joining us live here in the studio. Doctor, good evening to you, and thank you so much for joining us on the News Hour. First and foremost, I'd like to get your 2 cents on what this doubling down by Governor Uba Sani says about the insecurity that has become quite endemic, especially in northwest Nigeria.
Well, thank you very much for having me on the news item. And actually, it is confusing to say that on the one hand, the governor is negotiating for a peace pact, and on the other hand, the military are going kinetic. I think there is a missing link here. The governor should have, at the early stage of his intention, meet with the military to come to a particular understanding, and then before he progressed to, say, negotiation. But what is disturbing me the most is negotiating with the bandit on what ground? What is the level of negotiation? How have they come up with that? Is it that the military has degraded banditry so much that the bandits are crying out for succor, that the government now stretch his hand to say, okay, come, we are going to give you amnesty, we are going to negotiate with you? Or is it that the government is afraid of the bandits and they say, come, I'm going to buy you over? Because we have to look for a permanent solution, not 4 years term solution of the governor, not 8 years term solution of the governor. We need a solution that is sustainable. And so in getting sustainable solution, you have to look at the nitty-gritty of the matter. Why are they doing what they are doing? And then how have you been able to ensure that you are mitigating that complaint or that thing that has led them into carrying out the nefarious act of terrorism or banditry they are carrying out across the zone, the whole zone?
Doctor, a lot of people would point to how amnesty programs like this are a time-tested measure of addressing insecurity. It has worked beyond just the shores of Nigeria, but case in point in Nigeria, the amnesty deal in the Niger Delta, for instance. Why do you have such an issue with what Governor Sani is saying is going to bring peace to Kaduna State?
Well, I don't have any issue, because if you look at the deal in Niger Delta, the militants in the Niger Delta were so dealt with and degraded so much that at the time they were looking out for this peace pact between them and the government of the Federation. But I have not seen I have not seen that with the bandits, because on the one hand, So Kaduna State Governor is negotiating with them, and they allege one of their leader was killed, and they promised to attack motorists on their way of Kaduna Abuja highway, and they did. And you are telling me that's a pact? What kind of peace pact? I don't understand.
Right.
So there is conflict between the government deal and the military. There is no cohesion, there is no cooperation, there is no working together. So I don't understand, it's confusing.
Yeah. So doctor, experts like you have always talked about kinetic and non-kinetic approaches to addressing the insecurity that we've been dealing with, especially in northern Nigeria for the past decade and a half. Why is this not an acceptable non-kinetic approach? Because like the governor said, you had traditional institutions play a significant role, religious leaders play a significant role. This is the carrot instead of the stick, isn't it?
Yeah, I'm not saying that the intention of the governors are completely bad. What I'm saying is that have they reached to that level of understanding that, okay, it is in the open that the bandits are already tired of what they are doing, and they are looking for succor. They want to have peace between them and the state government, and they want to be de-radicalized and then reintegrate into the society? Or is it that, okay, that aspect of, if you look at most of their complaints, is that their cattle have been rustled. So is that the governor has built some ranches around the Kaduna State, private ranches that will bring them and occupy them and give them something to do, or that is, drop your guns, this is a ready job for you. We have already done ranches here and there. Your missing cows have been restored. We can give you five cows to start with. You don't need to go on the street. There must be something that will keep them, keep that deal sustainable. It's not about just talking to them and maybe, they feel that there is the need for them to carry guns again.
Right.
So what I'm saying is that they need to have tailored out a very dynamic, sustainable process before they go ahead with the deal. Okay,
finally, before we go, as we can see there in that video that is showing right now on the screen, it's a report put together by Trust TV's Bello Musa a couple of weeks ago. Clearly, we can see some of the bandits still with their arms and ammunitions. What are your thoughts about armament or disarmament, as the case may be? Because the governor did not talk about this. This is more like a peace pact, like no more attacks. However, they get to keep their guns. So if they change their minds tomorrow, who knows whether they're going to get back to their old ways. What are your thoughts about the deal points in this peace pact that the governor is talking about?
This is what I'm saying. It's confusing. We don't know what kind of amnesty is trying to offer, because like the whole thing, there is nothing like bring down your guns and take this your cows. That's what I'm saying. Keep your gun, give us your guns, take your cows, and this is the ranch. You can do your ranching here. This is what government has provided for you as succor. It is going to ameliorate your suffering or whatever, and it's going to, whatever grounds you have with the state and the people, this is it, and the farmers. We have done this ranch, so amount of ranches for you. You don't need to go and carry your cattle into farmers again to start having crisis. And then we are going to give you protection of your cows, that no one is going to rustle your cows. Make some solid arrangement on ground. Nothing is done. You are just telling us that the government is just saying making deals. So these deals is allowing him to work, to just serve for 4 years. When he goes out, they can come back with their guns again. I think that is what the deal is all about.
Well, that's interesting times ahead. It's safe to say that the Kaduna State government under Senator Ubasani is not relenting on seeing this through, as he doubled down in that BBC interview as to why they are forging ahead with this peace pact. It remains to be seen what will happen and whether or not it will indeed bring peace to some of these volatile communities. Dr. Sani Aliu, thank you so much for joining us on the News Hour. I appreciate you for the analysis.
Thank you for having me.
Right, amidst Nigeria's economic challenges, one family's determination is bringing hope and sustenance to their community in Kaduna State. Mr. and Mrs. Sam Ilya, who have been running a local Gari production factory for over a decade, have come up with an initiative which is providing a vital source of livelihood for many across their neighborhood, transforming many in the area in Ungwan, Nasara, and in Jama local government area of Kaduna State. Trust TV's Bello Musa visited the factory to uncover the inspiring story behind this thriving family enterprise. His report.
Gari production is predominantly done in the eastern part of Nigeria. However, the availability of cassava prompted people like Sam Ilya to venture into the business here in Kaduna State.
This has been in existence more than 15 years ago. This initiative came to me when a friend of mine from Katsina State gave me some little token to buy a car. Then I went and bought the car. My wife kicked against it. I made a refund. I went back. They gave me my money back and I returned the car.
Ilyas says his children manage the production aspects.
I'm producing Gary. I'm producing Gary. Likewise, I'm producing Apu, and starch too. I'm producing starch here. Yes, but cassava and sweet potatoes too. Gari for sweet potatoes is being produced here. Local waste. I don't have the machine, but local waste. There are pans here. They use the pans in frying the gari. Then they transport it to buyers.
Despite the lack of modern machines, dozens of bags of gari are being produced daily.
In a day. You see, like that. We package, you can see it. We package more than almost 100 bags in a day.
Although cassava is produced in the area, according to Zipporah Ilya and Monica Bitrus, transportation poses a significant challenge.
We have been facing numerous challenges. Yesterday, we arrived here around 2 a.m. Finding a vehicle was another hurdle, and the transportation costs were high. To make matters worse, we had to navigate through the forest and cross a river to get the cassava.
If I went to bush market, sometimes if I buy goods, I will not even get car to bring the goods in time. Sometimes when I buy the goods will stay there for 2 days or 3 days before I will get a car, because we used to go to one village from down to around Kagoma side to Kusom sites. We used to...
Ramatu Ilya introduced the business to her husband and is now in charge of grinding the cassava, a key stage in the production process. She laments the high cost of running the grinding machine.
We hardly maximize profit by using gas in the machine due to the surge in the price.
The small-scale factory is contributing to economic activities in the area. Ilya believes that the lack of modern machines and other facilities is hindering the growth of the business. They therefore appeal for government intervention to boost the activities of cottage industries in the state. From Jama local government in the southern part of Kaduna State, Bello Musa reporting for Trust TV News.
The Kano State High Court has restrained the Nigerian police from further arresting, inviting, harassing or detaining the chairman of the Kano State Public Complaints and Anti-Corruption Commission, Muhi Magaji. The case is between the Attorney General of Kano State Complaints and Anti-Corruption Commission, and Muhi Magaji as plaintiffs. The case has been adjourned to February 10 for hearing of the matter on notice. Motion on notice. Trust TV had reported that the anti-graft boss, who was arrested by police operatives on Friday evening, quiesced and later granted conditional bail around 11 p.m. on Friday, was however directed to report at the force headquarters in Abuja on Monday for further questioning. A federal high court in Abuja has been asked to restrain Mainasara Kogo from parading himself as the new chairman of the Code of Conduct Tribunal. The court was also urged to prevent Kogo from obstructing or interfering with the administration and functions of the tribunal, including those of its officials, pending the hearing and determination of the motion on notice. The plaintiffs in the case, Community Rescue Initiative, Total Concerned Citizens and Relief Foundation, and Nasiru Bala, in a motion ex parte dated January 24th, requested the court to bar Kogo from hindering the removed CCT chairman, Justice Dalladi Umar, from performing his duties until the substantive motion is heard. Recall that the Senate had removed Justice Umar as the CCT chairman last year over allegations of gross misconduct. Staying with the courts, a Nasarawa State High Court on Monday remanded Temilehin Ajayi at a correctional facility over the killing of Salome Enejo. Ajayi is being charged with culpable homicide. Trust TV earlier reported that he was arraigned at the High Court of Justice Lafia before Justice Simon Aboki on Monday. The State Counsel, Stanley Ifeanyi, told the court that Ajayi killed Enejo, a member of the National Youth Service Corps in the FCT, adding that the offense violated Section 221 of the Penal Code of Northern Nigeria and was punishable with death. The defendant pleaded not guilty when the charges were read to him. The presiding judge, Justice Simon Aboki, remanded Ajayi at the Lafia Custodial Center and adjourned the case to March 17, 2025 for hearing.
Mr. Timilehin Ajayi was properly arraigned before this honorable court on the one-count charge of culpable homicide punishable with death. His plea was taken and he pleaded not guilty to the charge, and the date was set for trial. The case is now adjourned to the 17th to 28th day of March for trial. The court is desirous of giving it a speedy trial, accelerated trial, and it's a welcome development. We have overwhelming evidence to sustain the charge, and we are optimistic that the justice will be done.
It's my place to defend him. The essence of the work of the defense counsel is to ensure that the prosecution does their own work legally well, which is to prove the case beyond reasonable doubt. So I'm here to make sure that the law is fulfilled.
Elsewhere, motorists are expressing frustration over the worsening condition of the Oyo-Ogbomosho road, which they say is causing significant loss of lives, properties and perishable good items transported from northern Nigeria to the southern part of the country. Trust TV's Abbas Dalibi toured several sections of the road where drivers struggle to maneuver through the deteriorated terrain. He reports that numerous trucks have broken down while others have overturned while attempting to navigate the treacherous stretches. His report as presented from our studio.
Thick dust, weariness, and loss of lives and properties are making travelers frustrated with the Oyo-Ogbomosho highway in the southwest part of Nigeria that connects the region to Ilorin, the capital of Kwara State in the north-central region. The long stretch of the about 50-kilometer highway is key to the movement of goods, especially farm produce from northern Nigeria to the southwest. However, this once smooth transport corridor is now threatening to hamper economic trade and commerce due to the decaying state of the road, as recent congestion along the old Oyo-Ogbomosho highway has left many truck and trailer drivers as well as motorists stranded and frustrated. Motorists narrated several instances of getting stranded for days due to the gridlock, causing congestion and strains on heavy-duty trucks, some of which break down at strategic portions of the road. Those transporting food items from the north to the southwest, especially Lagos, Oyo and Ogun State, as well as those transporting consumer goods and other commodities like petroleum products from Lagos to the north, express frustration over the poor state of the road. Many of them blame it on the neglect of the road project, which has been ongoing for more than a decade.
I loaded perishables from Kano State to my top market in Lagos. Since the old Ogbomosho road is in very bad condition, we used to divert to the new highway, and the road that links us to the new highway is not good. It is full of rocks. I was trying to navigate through the road when I got into a hole and hit a rock, and the truck had a problem. The gear of the truck is now faulty.
Yahuza Muhammad said the situation appears to be manageable during the dry season because a faulty truck during the rainy season makes the situation worse, as it could completely block the road, adding that food, especially vegetables, get bad while livestock die. He asked the federal government to complete the road project. Bala Musa is a truck driver, and he has been driving trucks to Lagos since the 1970s, a time he said the roads had fewer cars and trucks with fewer incidents of accidents.
Then the roads were in good condition, unlike today. At that time, if you leave Kaduna at 6 p.m., you will enter Lagos by 6 a.m. the next morning. But things have changed now. Only in Mokwa, Niger State, we had to spend 2 days in a gridlock, and you will still come here to face the same thing.
He disclosed that lately the gridlock had eased a bit compared to what was experienced months before. But the major challenge they have is the road project that was abandoned. Ibrahim Dalladi Tanko, one of the leaders of the Arewa community in Odoba village, located between Oyo and Ogbomosho, disclosed that construction equipment at an area called Okeba have been moved out because construction work has stopped.
Vehicles get damaged during the rainy and dry seasons. Also in Iliabo, Ajao local government are other areas where the road is under construction or repair, but work has stopped, causing loss of properties in addition to lives.
The community leader said the deplorable state of the road has been the cause of many accidents en route, adding that government has not been responsive to their plight, as there is no repair work being done now. He lamented that as work stopped since President Muhammadu Buhari left office. Tunde Raji, a truck mechanic who lives in Shagamu, Ogun State, and goes to Ogbomosho regularly to repair trucks, said the truck he joined from Shagamu to Ogbomosho the previous day was attacked around Sabo Odo Oba, which is between Oyo and Ogbomosho.
I come from Shagam. Sometimes if I leave Shagam, come Ogbomosho, can't do work. I've stayed 1 week for inside the go-slow. Inside the go-slow. Yesterday night, inside our driver, the time he entered this go-slow from Odoba, some army robber attacked them. With the road good, some army robber can't stay for road, can attack the driver. It's possible. That's why the government can help us, can do this road.
Raji asked the federal government to fix the road, which he described as the only alternative. The contract for the 45.5 kilometer Oyo-Ogbomosho highway was awarded during the civilian administration of President Olusegun Obasanjo, but it has not been completed till date.
In other news, activist and former presidential candidate of the African Action Congress, Omoyele Sowore, has rejected the Nigeria police bail conditions and opted to remain in custody. He was reportedly instructed to submit his passport and provide a grade level 17 officer equivalent to a permanent secretary as a surety. Sowore had arrived at the police force headquarters in Abuja on Monday morning following an invitation by the police for questioning over a viral video in which he accused officers at a Lagos checkpoint of extortion. He was summoned to address multiple allegations, including resisting and obstructing public officers, disobedience to law orders, cyber stalking, and actions allegedly aimed at preventing arrests. Later, Sowore took to his X handle to announce that he had been granted administrative bail, but vowed to reject if the conditions were deemed, quote, unreasonable. In a follow-up tweet, he confirmed that he had indeed rejected the bail conditions and chosen to remain in custody until his arraignment.
The media you're talking about is your media. I allowed you this to show you. Hold on. To show you our unsincerity of purpose. We're not unsincere.
We are not disputing your sincerity.
That's just the reason. If not, we don't need.
We're not disputing your sincerity.
No, that's it.
What I'm saying is that the media came here so as to hear your own side, and they were supposed to hear my own side, but I have opted with my lawyer to go see your team. Are we good now?
To Lagos State now, where the Speaker of the State House of Assembly, Mojisola Miranda, has officially taken residence in the Speaker's office at the Lagos State House of Assembly complex. She was accompanied by members of the State Assembly during the move. A prayer session was held in her honor, as well as for other members of the State House of Assembly, praying for smooth leadership and collaboration among the members. The plenary, scheduled for Monday, has been adjourned to a later date by the House leadership. Former Speaker Mudashiru Obasa, who was removed on January 13 by a majority of the House members following allegations of misconduct and financial misappropriation, broke his silence on Saturday, stating that he remains the Speaker until due process is followed.
I give you power of dominion. Amen. The secret of an enemy shall not be covered. Amen. In the name of Jesus. Anywhere you go.
While still staying in Lagos, a chieftain of the All Progressives Congress and former chairman of the Lagos State House of Assembly Commission, Wale Mogaji, has warned that impeached Speaker Mudashiru Obasa risks suspension if he continues to claim the position of Speaker. Speaking to journalists in Ikeja on Monday, Mogaji criticized Obasa's recent assertion that his impeachment was illegitimate, emphasizing that the Assembly followed due process in removing him from office. He accused Obasa of undermining the authority of the Assembly with his remarks and highlighted the former Speaker's own history of bypassing due process during his tenure. Mogaji also advised the new Speaker to take lessons from Obasa's shortcomings to foster better leadership and uphold the Assembly's integrity. Still staying with politics, the Omoluabi Progressives, a political group led by former Osun State Speaker Rauf Aregbesola, has announced its decision to sever ties with the All Progressives Congress (APC). In a weekend statement, the group cited ostracism, suspension and expulsion of its leaders without fair hearing as key reasons for leaving the party. It's also blamed the APC's mismanagement of internal crisis in Osun State, which contributed to the party's poor performance in the last election cycle, for eroding its popularity and strength among the people. The organizing and publicity secretary of the group, Oluwaseun Abosede, says the decision to quit the APC was a consensus reached by its stakeholders. The statement also quoted Rauf Aregbesola, the immediate past Minister of Interior, commending the group for its steadfastness and commitment to principles of character, integrity, and good governance. You're watching the News Hour on Trust TV. Still to come. Stakeholders oppose federal government's push to reactivate oil exploration in Ogoniland. More on this and many more stories coming up ahead. Join us again. Welcome back to the news. Thank you most kindly for staying with us. Let's take another look at our top stories. The Kaduna State government has reaffirmed its backing of the pact with bandits, claiming it is aimed at saving lives. Amid rising cost of living, a family provides succor to a community with its local Gari processing initiative. The FCT Police Command says preliminary investigations have revealed that the abductors of family members in Chikakore community in Bwari Area Council of the FCT in the early hours of Monday were unknown men who disguised themselves as vigilantes carrying machetes and sticks to attack residents in the area. A statement by the command spokesperson, Josephine Ade, says the suspect deceived the victim into opening his house gate, after which they abducted the victim alongside 3 members of his family. The spokesperson also said a neighbor who attempted to intervene sustained injuries during the attack and was rushed to the Kubwa General Hospital for medical attention. Josephine Ade, however, said that the police command has commenced a comprehensive search and rescue operation, which she said is aimed at securing the safe release of the abducted victims and the arrest of the perpetrators of the crime. She also urged residents of the Chikakore community and the public to remain calm and vigilant while calling on members of the public with useful information to come forward and assist the police in its investigation and rescue operation. The Kano State Police Command has arrested 3 suspects linked to the death of a retired permanent secretary from Gombe State who resided in Kano's Jambolo area. Addressing journalists, the Commissioner of Police in Kano, Salman Dogo, also discussed other security concerns causing alarm among residents and authorities. Trust TV's Abdulaziz Ibrahim has more.
It was a tragic event for a former permanent secretary in Gombe State, Atiku Muazu, when he was abducted from his Jambulu residence in Kano, despite a 2 million ransom reportedly paid to secure his release. Abubakar Hassan, aka Captain, speaks on how he lured Muazu to Jigawa on the pretext of taking him to collect his car from his mechanic. We shared the money and I was given 300,000 naira. I came with him to ring him, pretending to take him to collect his car. We demanded for 20 million naira, but we got 1.8 million naira.
He conspired with 4 others, including the mechanic of the victim, held him hostage, and later killed him after collecting a ransom of 2 million naira. A toy gun, 6 rubber bullets was recovered from the suspect. The suspect are currently undergoing district investigation at the Command Criminal Investigation Department Anti-Kidnapping Unit. They will soon be charged to court.
A relative narrates how much the deceased trusted his alleged killers. They connived with my father's mechanic, whom he trusts so much, up to the extent that once the mechanic concludes any repairs, my dad will hand him his ATM card and details to go and get his money.
Another report was received on 26 January 2025 at about 1:30 a.m. that armed men, large in number, riding on motorcycle, shooting periodically, invaded the residence of Alhaji Awalu at Sabwa Ugwa Garu Kabo LGA Kano and robbed him the sum of 8 million naira. They also went away with one of his daughter, Zainab Aliu F, 16 years old, to unknown destination. The police command has set up all machinery in place to ensure the rescue of the victim and apprehended the perpetrator.
Similarly, these young men were arrested for setting up a roadblock to seize phones and damage vehicles from residents in Hotoro area.
17 suspected armed robbers who stormed Hotoro cow quarters, Kano, breaking shops and motor vehicle, all as attacking and robbing innocent people of their belongings. Members of the public are urged to continue to remain vigilant and cautious. Our safety is paramount. Therefore, I encourage you to be aware of your surroundings and report any suspicious activities or individual to the nearest police station.
As authorities work to restore calm, the people of Kano State are hoping for a swift resolution to these cases and the continued peace they have enjoyed for years. Abdulaziz Ibrahim, Trust TV News, Kano.
The 1917 Northern Consensus Movement and the police have called for peace and restraint among members of Northern Hausa community in Owerri, Imo State. This follows clashes that have erupted between members of the community in the past few months. Following the clash, tensions have risen, sparking unrest and concern within the region. The Deputy Inspector General of Police, Dasuki Galadenchi, who made clear recommendations for peace, urged both parties involved to refrain from any action that could disrupt public order.
Both parties agreed to abide by the recommendations signed and undertaken to maintain peace and committed to preserving the status quo. In conclusion, it is the firm belief of NSNCM that this matter has been amicably resolved and that the Hausa community in Amahausa Owerri can continue to utilize the property for legitimate business purposes without fear of interference or intimidation. This resolution underscores the importance of peaceful dialogue, respect for rule of law, and unity among community members. As an organization, we remain committed to safeguarding the right of Northerners and promoting harmony wherever they reside.
The Chancellor of the Afe Babalola University, Ado-Ekiti, Afe Babalola, has dropped all criminal charges against human rights lawyer Dele Farotimi following the intervention of the Oni of Ife, Oba Adeye Ofunwusi. Now, Babalola, who stated this on Sunday, says the Oni and other prominent traditional rulers in the country have intervened. Recall that Farotimi published a book titled Nigeria and Its Criminal Justice System, where he alleges that Afe Babalola corrupted the Nigerian judiciary. Addressing journalists, Afe Babalola also noted that he has no choice but to obey the commandments of the traditional institutions, while adding that the statement of the Oba in Yoruba tradition from time immemorial is a command. The Oni of Ife, Oba Adeye, had earlier appealed to Babalola to consider the various forces and personalities that have intervened in the matter.
He's a Yoruba man too, Dele Farotimi. But we're looking beyond this case. Baba Afe Babalola, nobody can tarnish your name. You have passed a clear message to all and sundry. Young, old, they've learned from you. That what is in a name, in that name, is way beyond gold and silver. Protect it. You have protected it. You have told us, we have seen, we have heard you loud and clear. Combining forces with the traditional institution in which we uphold so dearly, that is what we're using to take this from you. We have heard you loud and clear. Enough, enough, and enough.
I am the chairman of Transparency International, based in Germany, over corruption. I've given lectures alongside with Obasanjo and others around Africa. You can see my speech in Cotonou, everywhere. They're printed. For one to come and say, I won my cases through corruption, strikes at the bottom of what I am. That was why I rejected every appeal to take the case out of court. There is nothing I'm going to gain by his imprisonment.
Back here in Abuja, the House of Representatives Committee on Petroleum Upstream has raised concerns with the Nigeria Extractive Industries Transparency Initiative over discrepancies in its financial figures, which they argue fail to reflect the current economic challenges in the country. To address these issues, the lawmakers have set up a subcommittee to meet with native officials and help resolve key points of contention. Here's the report.
At a recent meeting, NATI's Executive Secretary, Ogbonaya Oji, appealed before the committee to provide details of the agency's proposed 2024 expenditure and its spending plan for 2025. During his testimony, Ogbonaya highlighted NATI's ongoing collaboration with the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, EFCC, to recover 6 billion naira in stolen funds, in addition to another 66 billion naira owed the government by operators within the sector.
Then the template is not universally convenient for all agencies. You find the operations that are peculiar to NATI. For instance, NATI is an international. There are basic obligations that we owe the country to comply and remain compliant to the international community.
Ogbonaya also presented a breakdown of the agency's proposed 6.5 billion naira budget for 2025. The allocation includes 2.2 billion for personal costs, 1.7 billion for overheads, and 2.5 billion for capital expenditures. Among the items planned for expenditure, 175 million naira is earmarked for repairs of the agency's office gates, 155 million naira for additional vehicles, 167 million naira for data acquisition, 38 million naira for library books, and 8.1 million naira for photocopiers.
Legal services, 22 million. Motor vehicle cost, 72 million. Motor vehicle fuel cost. Plant generator cost, 35.5 million. Bank charges, 3.7 million. Insurance premium, 71.0 million. Refreshments and meals, 32.5 million.
Committee member voiced concerns over the arrangement of the budget items and took particular issue with the proposed 32 million naira allocation for welfare expenses, including payments to National Assembly members.
The population, our people, for whom we are all here standing for and holding brief for them, are also crying out. Then agencies of government like your own must also be mindful of what to expend out of public coffers. All of these presentations you have made, the expenditures proposed, are all going to be done at the expense of the public. And sometimes you tend to make some presentations that sounds funny and very insulting in the eyes of the people.
And in your justification, you mentioned the National Assembly. I can't remember this committee inviting us to come for oversight, to come and eat in your establishment. So refreshments and meals, 32 million naira. No matter the type of stakeholders that come to you throughout the year, there's no way. What are you serving? People don't serve more than tom-tom and Coke and water. There's never any time you serve meals.
Now, the best sharp MT 5051 colored photocopia is just about 4.1 million. If you use that to divide your 81 million, that means you are buying about 19 photocopier for whose office? And then you look at the shredding machine, the highest you get is about 240k. And then you want to spend 6 million, you are buying about 25 pieces of that.
NATI maintained that as a specialized agency, it is required to adhere to international standards, which dictate certain expenditures. To resolve the outstanding issues, the committee chairman announced that a sub-panel of lawmakers would meet privately with NATI to further explain the budget. The sub-panel's findings are expected to guide the committee's next steps in approving or reversing the agency's 2025 spending plan.
Stakeholders in Ogoniland have expressed their strong opposition to the federal government's push for crude oil exploration resumption in the region, demanding justice for past injustices, environmental accountability, and transparency in consultation. This follows President Bola Ahmed Tinubu's directive to the National Security Advisor to engage with the people of Ogoni land for a possible resumption of crude oil exploration in the area. The report.
It has been 32 years since Shell was kicked out of Ogoni following environmental concerns and other issues. As a follow-up to the President's directive, stakeholders are gathered in this hall for a one-day dialogue on oil companies' divestments versus oil resumption in Ogoni land. The dialogue is organized by the Lokiaka Community Development Center held in Port Harcourt, the Rivers State capital. Ogoni stakeholders warned that restarting oil extraction without addressing the underlying issues that halted production in 1993 could trigger further conflict and devastation. The stakeholders, including traditional rulers, civil society organizations, and the media, fear that Russian oil resumption without resolving historical grievances could further destabilize the region and deepen mistrust between the government and Ogoni communities. Speaking with newsmen, the executive director of Lokiaka Community Development Center, Martha Agbani, questioned the rationale behind the push for oil resumption, accusing the government of ignoring the demands in the Ogoni Bill of Rights and failing to honor the sacrifices made during the Ogoni struggle.
Issues around oil extraction shouldn't be secret. So we are here to dialogue with the Ogoni stakeholders. We need to understand what they know. We need to know where they are. Let's know a path we are driving towards Ogoni sustainability to see how the environment can actually be sustained. Would this move not actually bring about conflict? Will this move not bring about more deaths again in the Ogoni environment? Ogoni has been used as a template globally to say that Ogoni has been able to leave their oil in the soil for the past 3 decades. So why would the Ogoni just change to say they don't want oil to be, extracted?
The country director of Natural Justice, Michael Karikwo, emphasized the need for robust environmental and social safeguards to prevent renewed tensions.
If oil resumption starts and people don't see the benefits as quickly as possible, then I'm thinking that it might even be worse than when we started out. So Ogoni people need to sit down together and discuss this as a family. So how do you set aside funds for the future?
On his part, the executive director of YEAC Nigeria, Dr. Fine-Face Dumnamene, criticized the government for prioritizing oil production over addressing the demands that led to the suspension of oil activities in 1993, while some of the participants from Ogoni called for proper dialogue and insisted that it must be a community-driven process.
The consultation process they have started may not, like they are saying that the governor said it should have a timeline. I bet them that in the next 5 years it will be difficult to take oil in Ogoni because the situation on the ground as enshrined in the Ogoni Bill of Rights will take quite a long time for them to can address it.
Resumption of oil, when they carry their armies again and come to our communities, men will run, women will remain there and suffer. So we must have a voice so that this thing will work this time, not for us to be running up and down again.
Ken never said there should be no taking of oil from Ogoni, but because of the practice, because of the way the government placed us and the pollutions, we wasn't part of it, we wasn't able to achieve anything as people who own the oil. That is why we started a struggle. So if the present government have decided that they're going to talk with the Ogoni, we need to have a Ogoni template and place before them. And if they are able to meet all those requirements, we should sign that requirement and make sure we are not deceived.
The people called for inclusive consultations, justice for past atrocities, environmental remediation, and community-driven processes to ensure sustainable development in Ogoni land.
Now, addressing insecurity has been highlighted as a crucial step in tackling illiteracy in northern Nigeria. This was part of the focus of an event organized by the Adamawa State Ministry of Education and Human Capital Development in collaboration with the Education in Emergency Working Group to mark this year's International Day for Education. Trust TV's Gibson Swadigo reports.
This year's celebration theme,
digital education and e-learning in Adamawa State, provided a platform for stakeholders to come together and explore innovative educational strategies. The gathering, held at the banquet hall of the Government House in Yola, aimed to identify effective pathways for enhancing educational landscape in the state. Stephen Medu, the focal person for the Education in Emergency Working Group in Adamawa State, expressed gratitude for the robust support from the state government, which has been instrumental in implementing a variety of impactful projects. He underscored the transformative power of education in breaking the cycle of poverty and promoting sustainable development within the communities.
Education is the bedrock of any society progress. It is the key to unlocking potentials, breaking cycles of poverty, and fostering sustainable development. However, we know that it is time of emergencies. Education systems are disrupted, leaving many vulnerable children and youth without access to learning in Adamawa State.
Dr. Garba Umar Pella, the Adamawa State Commissioner for Education and Human Capital Development, shared insight on how collaborative efforts with various partners have propelled progress in the education sector. He discussed the administration's commitment to integrating global best practices into teaching and learning through the e-learning framework.
And that is why, as a government, when we take on board, the government has been about 23 since 2019 has consistently placed education on top of its development agenda. During the first half, it was a top priority in the development agenda. And today, in the second half, it is equally top priority to the program.
Right from the 1999 to date, you can see the rate of out-of-school children. All the partners are doing what they can, but still, we have to invest a lot. Adamawa State, it is the Northeast, not only the Northeast, it is the North. Thank you for the government of Adamawa State and the movement and the executives for doing what they are doing in education.
The event also featured inspiring goodwill messages from numerous partners and engaging panel discussions, all of which aimed to advance educational opportunities through innovative e-learning solutions. This collaborative spirit between the Adamawa State Government and the Education Emergency Working Group, which is an umbrella body of all non-governmental organizations in the education sector, highlights the promising future for education in Adamawa State, ensuring that every child has the chance to succeed. Gibson Adugo, Trust TV News, Yola.
The Chief of Defense Staff, General Christopher Musa, has urged stronger collaboration between the Nigerian Army, the Nigeria Customs Service and other security agencies to enhance the protection of lives and property nationwide. His appeal was made during the 2025 International Customs Day celebration in Abuja. Here's Trust TV's Noel Sampson with more.
Deemed Customs delivering on its commitment, security and prosperity. The Comptroller General of Customs, Bashir Adeniyi, also highlighted achievements of the service. In the past year, the service made 6.1 trillion naira revenue in 2024, which superseded their target for the year.
In pursuit of operational efficiency, we've made significant strides in modernizing our processes and procedures. Our commitment to efficiency is evidenced by several key achievements over the years, and notable amongst this is the successful implementation of the advanced rule system, providing binding decisions on classification and valuation before shipment arrival.
The Chief of Defense Staff, General Christopher Musa, who was the special guest of honor, appealed for synergy between the Nigerian Army, Customs, and other sister agencies for enhanced security.
In this ever-evolving landscape of global trade and security challenges, the Nigerian Customs Service has consistently demonstrated its adaptability, resilience, and innovation. Your dedication to embracing new technologies, implementing best practices, and fostering international cooperation has been instrumental in enhancing the efficiency and effectiveness of customs operations across the country. As we move forward, let us continue to work in synergy with other agencies, strengthening our partnership, sharing knowledge, and leveraging our collective expertise to further improve customs processes, enhance security measures, and drive economic prosperity for our nation and its people.
Highlights of the event was the presentation of awards to outstanding officers of the service as a way of encouraging them and others to do better. Noel Samson, Thrust TV News, Abuja.
To developments on the international scene, the besieged Congolese city of Goma was rocked by heavy artillery fire on Monday as France warned the regional capital was on the brink of falling to militia fighters and Rwandan troops. The M23 armed group and Rwandan soldiers entered Goma's center on Sunday night after weeks of advancing on the main city in DR Congo's mineral-rich North Kivu province. French Foreign Minister Jean-Noel Barrot said the Rwanda-backed offensive, quote, must stop, expressing his country's solidarity with the Democratic Republic of Congo as Goma prepares to fall, with international pressure mounting for an end to the battle for Goma. Kenya announced on Sunday that Congolese President Felix Tshisekedi and Rwandan President Paul Kagame have agreed to attend a summit in the next 2 days. M23 fighters and 3,000 to 4,000 Rwandan soldiers had been laying siege to Goma for several days, according to the United Nations and security sources. And that is our offering for you on the News Bulletin at this hour. Thank you most kindly for joining us. Feel free, as always, to stay in touch. Visit our website, trusttv.com, for the latest. My name is Abdullahi Ahmed. Thank you for your time and good night.